Hey everybody, Kim here with Little Biz Resources, and this is just really disconcerting because there's no countdown. It just starts. So I have no idea if it's actually going or not. I just hope it does. So let me hop into Facebook real quick. For those of you who are watching this replay on Facebook, I am probably not going to stream to Facebook anymore. We'll talk about that here in the presentation today. But there is a reason for it. But let me go ahead. I'm over here. I'm gonna share. Where am I going to? Pages and a little bit of resources. We should be live on here. Let's see if I can make it creepy, right? All right. So we're going to share two more options. Share group. And we'll share this into the group. We're live. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll just open it later. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. So I didn't have a whole lot of time to put this together, so it's more notes than anything, but let's go ahead and get started with this. So the first thing I wanted to talk about today is Profit Singularity. I had sent an email out the other day. I'm still fixing my email marketing platform. So if you're like, hey, I didn't get that email, sorry, you may not be signed up, first of all. And second of all, yeah, we just got it fixed and I have to shift all of the emails from one platform to the other. And, it's kind of a weird thing, but that's going to be a long-term solution. So the last ones were kind of temporary and problematic. And we'll, of course, once we dive into our email marketing segment, which will probably be next year because I'm not the best at email marketing, but I can help you get it set up at least for free. Well, I give you the information for free. You still have to pick a platform. All right. So I decided to suspend being normal. Remember, I told you I was going to try to be normal for the rest of the year. My sister and I saw this program, Profit Singularity. And for this particular project, my sister and I said, okay, you know what? We need to hop on this right now. Right meow. My daughter's not listening, or my sister's not on either. She'd get a kick out of it too. So instead of, let's go ahead and minimize that, make this as big as possible. So in fact, I can take myself off, can't I? I don't know. It keeps it they said you need to have like activity. Chrissy, do you want to come on? Or no, you're just going to work and listen to me? She's probably just going to work and listen to me because she's working. She got a lot of stuff. She got slammed today with stuff for her e-commerce business. So anyway, you can let me know in the comments. And if you want to come on, I'll send you a link. But otherwise, just keep listening and keep commenting. Thanks. I can come up. What does that mean? What does I can come up mean? Ooh, and by the way, we're probably going to stop using StreamYard. Wait, hold on. Let me see if I'm doing this right. Well, I'm going to set it in the private chat. I think this link will go to you. And then you can come on. Now, we did find out. So last week, Marjorie was nice enough to come on and ask some questions live and engage with us and interact and everything. And we had a challenge because there was an audio issue. And supposedly there's like all this stuff that you can do to fix it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why? Well, I mean, I'm paying for the software. Why do I have to go through all of these different settings and stuff? That's the whole point of paying for StreamYard, is that I don't have to do the OBS thing, right? So anyway, so actually I can just ask you what you like and if you're going to come on. I don't know if you're going to come on or not. But yeah, so we decided to suspend being normal, which, you know what? We're not normal. We should just say that now. We're not. And it's really hard for us to be normal. And really, what is normal? But this particular program, it's kind of pricey. It's, especially for what it does, right? I'm sitting there going, man, is it worth the price? And I'm going, yes, it is. And here's why I said that. Let me go on. We'll talk about Chrissy's little comment in a section. Well, I won't. I'll just keep going. She can come on and talk about it in a second too. So I asked my sister what she liked most about it, what excited her the most about it. Because I was like, I'm going to do a video and I'm going to do the hook because I have my own formula, which we'll talk about that. But I'm like, hey, I want to do something fun. I want, what should I do? What did you like the most about the presentation? She goes, I can make $50,000 a day. Now I put $30,000 a day on here because that's really, I think, what the guy said. But in her mind, she translated it to, why stop there? At least that's what I think. So naturally, I laughed because it was kind of funny that she said that. But one of the case studies, and the guy that does the case study, he's so funny. You guys have got to see the case study. I'll have to get the link later. I didn't have time to grab it, but so one of the case studies actually features a man who made $30,000 in sales in one day. And I can't remember. I went into the inside to the program and I looked, and his profits were around, and I think he even says in the case study what it is, but I'd have to look. But I think it's like $12,000 to $13,000. Yeah, Marjorie, and I got to tell you, same thing. I was kind of unimpressed, except that there's something that's been bugging me for a while now. And again, I'm going to do a better review on it. Okay, are you going to get on, Chrissy? Sorry, she's saying. I had to take my inhaler beforehand, so my asthma's going to kick in a little bit. I'll try to drink a little along the way and keep it minimized. But anyway, so what is interesting about it to me, and we'll talk about this a little bit more detail, is basically that YouTube has literally been on my brain a lot lately. My sister and I have been talking about YouTube, talking about the potential, seeing an increase in stuff. And we're going, you know what? Of all the alleged, I don't consider YouTube a social media platform, even though it is lumped under that. I don't know. There's a private, can you see private chat, Chrissy? There should be a private chat option somewhere on there where you can receive the link. Otherwise, I have to email it to you, because the private chat won't go out to everybody. And then I know there's a delay on this. Okay, well then I copied it. Let me just email it to you real quick. Anyway, so what's been interesting about while I'm doing this, of course I got into the wrong email, so that's not going to work. Come on, Kim. Hey, come on, Kim's fingers. Oh, the microphone's right in front of me, which I'm going to eventually have a camera too. There's just too much stuff on my desk. I can't put it on there. So let me go ahead and send it to Chrissy to the normal email. And that should just take a minute or so. And then she will join us, hopefully. So Marjorie, I know that's not, I don't think they are. And so Marjorie said that, before I say what Marjorie said, let me back up. So they use the robot voices, which is text to speech. So they use text to speech voices. They use a specific script, which theoretically you could do it without the voices. You just take longer because of the script, because you'd have to do it yourself, right? So you've got your video script, and then they're using videos, which I believe they're using just, like Pixabay pictures or video or something. I don't know for sure because they didn't walk through the whole process, but it's really simplistic, right? It's very simplistic. And that makes it seem like, hey, it's not worth it until you stop and go, wait a second, how much money am I going to spend on ads if I were to do this on my own? And this is something that I actually did almost a year ago, right? Almost a year ago. I was like, you know what? I know that there's potential on YouTube with ads. I just have to figure out what I'm doing. And so I tested it. The product I tested it with was horrible to use. And that's the one thing. So I thought about it. I'm like, okay, I don't know what product is best to do it with, right? I can test, but if I test 15, 20 products and 10 different ads, I'm going to easily spend more money than the entire program is worth. Just to get that information is worth it to me. Right. And then they're going to help us with the beginning part. And the script I have was from the other course that I did. And so they do a pattern interrupt or a hook at the beginning. And I'm sure that this script is very similar to what they use, because this is a pretty popular, script and how they do it. So, and I have it right next to me. So I'm like, oh, Chrissy, you're on. Sorry. Let's add you to the stream. Welcome, Chrissy. Thanks for coming on.
Am I on? Oh, I am on. Okay, there you go.
Okay, so since we're here, we've talked a little bit about but Marjorie said that she doesn't like the AI voices. I'm going to tell you what, I don't either. But I
think they're creepy as all heck, and my kids are like, oh, it's okay. They're all over the place. They're, everyone uses them. And I'm like, really? How do you know that?
Right. Well, and here's the thing that's interesting about that was that went back and looked at stats, and I used, well, my voice at the time, I wasn't using any emotion. It would have been as close to robotic as possible, and they got some of the most views. I honestly think, now, for those of you who have done Facebook with us for a while, you know that Facebook does this. And what they do, I'm trying to figure out how to put motion on the screen. Pull up a GIF or something and have it play, right? So what they do is they have, they put people in buckets. That's the way it was described to me, as buckets. So if you prefer pictures, which I don't think anybody does, if you prefer pictures, then you can, you'll be put into pictures. So you'll see pictures more often than video, right? And so people who like video see video more. People who are going to convert, they're going to see different ads than people who are going to engage, right? So if you run an engagement ad, people who are more likely to engage will see that. And if you're running a conversion ad, people who are more likely to make the purchase are going to see that. So obviously, that's not exclusive to Facebook, right? That's going to be something that's across the board on all of these platforms. They're all trying to match people up with what they like, because that's how they can run more ads, and that's how they get people to come back. So YouTube is the same way. In fact, there's a discussion about this because of YouTube Shorts that are out. So YouTube Shorts, which is short videos, make sure I clarify that so people aren't like, what do you mean YouTube Shorts? Are they going into merch or something? Probably are, but that's not the point. Shorts in this case are not clothing. They are short videos. They're under a minute, and they're vertical, right? And so that's deviates from what they used to do. And so because of that, they now put people in, if they like shorts, they are in one category. And if they like regular videos, they're in another category. And they tend not to cross over. I suspect the same thing with the robot voices, right? Text to speech, that there are some people, and especially some countries, that prefer text to speech than actual voice, or some niches that work better and everything else. So what happens is I'm pretty sure that, as Marjorie points out, that she says YouTube has been suspending accounts using AI videos. I don't think they're suspending the accounts because of the voice, right? I think there's probably suspending the accounts for other reasons. So it's just that that's a text to speech is a common thing to use in less savory channels. Like, they will use it. And so it depends on what they're putting in it and everything else, because they cannot block text to speech. They can't just go, oh, well, you're text to speech, so we're not letting you on there, because text to speech is a very legitimate platform for some audiences, right? It's very legitimate. And in fact, there are many audiences that would fall into, sorry, the emergency management part of me wants to say vulnerable populations, but populations with disabilities, or, something like that, where text to speech is a critical component. And if you're to say, hey, you know what, we're not going to support text to speech, it would be a huge uprising if that were to be accurate. So I suspect the accounts that are getting suspended are doing something else, not just text to speech. They're probably putting in information that's inaccurate. They're probably, linking to stuff that has viruses in it or something. I mean, there's a lot of different things that can get you your account shut down, and it has nothing to do with text to speech. So that's what I suspect, because I don't think they could do that and just say, oh, it's because you have text to speech. Now they might put that in their algorithm and just kind of be weeding people out, because if you're doing something wrong and you're using text to speech, and then you go in and you get banned, you don't go to YouTube and go, well, if reinstate my account, I know I was spamming, but so what? Right? You just go away. And so they may have that in their algorithm as a extra layer, where you have to go ahead and appeal to get your account back to prove that you are a real person and that you're not just scamming, because then they can have a conversation with you or whatever else. So they might have that in their bot to detect it and say, stop the account until we get an appeal, and then we'll go ahead and reopen it. That could be something that they're doing, because that might be a problem they're having, but I don't know. So I'll find out, right, when we start doing it. But what I was unimpressed with the presentation as well, because they seem to just kind of be filling it with people making money. And I'm like, well, what are you going to do for an hour when you have such a simplistic platform, right? And like I said, the system uses videos, a specific script, and YouTube ads. That's it, right? And then they generate traffic to affiliate products. It's an extremely simplistic thing. And I'm going to tell you, after the week I had, this is appealing to me. Right? I went back through, and so first of all, I got a 1-star review on my Etsy shop where the lady was literally just throwing a temper tantrum. And Chrissy can vouch for me on this, that the lady was just being ridiculous. And she didn't even give me a chance to help her or respond or anything else. And then she's like doing these public reviews that are nasty and everything else. So it was it was really discouraging to go, you know what? This is the kind of people you have to deal with, even in e-commerce, right? On Etsy, that's what I'm dealing with. So then I was going back trying to fix my affiliate, or not my affiliate marketing, my email marketing. I don't know why I get those words mixed up, but my email marketing one. And they were like, I was going through because somebody had signed up on for the affiliate course, and I was like, oh, that's weird. I thought he unsubscribed. And so because I'm working with two different email platforms, I went back to the other one. I'm like, sure enough, he did. And then I just happened to see the reason, and I went, oh my gosh, the guy ripped me apart because he said that I was a Trump lover, which for the record, I'm not per se a Trump lover. I'm just anti huge corporations stomping on the little person. So I don't know how that makes me a Trump lover, but whatever. I mean, I'm not going to say I hate the guy. I don't really hate anybody. There's very few people I hate in the world. So I guess if that's the definition of it, then fine. So I was pretty pissed by his extremely rude comments to me and the fact that I don't understand. I don't understand why people have to be that way. If you don't like it, move on. Right? I mean, why do you have to sit there and be such a jerk? I mean, that's just mean. So anyway, it was a pretty bad week for me with that. Plus my daughter had some sort of rash that started last week, and it was actually here. She actually had it on Thursday. But by the time Saturday came, her eyes are almost swollen closed. I'm going to urgent care. They're trying to get me to go to the emergency room. I'm freaking out. And then of course the next several days after that is me, getting that under control, and now it's pretty much gone. So it's been a really rough week as far as emotional and everything else. And so this is appealing to me for probably that reason alone, is that I'm getting sick and tired of the evil, mean people out there that they just can't keep their mouth shut or think before they speak or whatever it is. So anyway, I'm going to do a better review on it to tell you guys why, but I wanted to talk about some of the concepts that I've been trying to talk about, and that is YouTube versus Facebook. This is a video I wanted to do. I saw that was before I ever even heard of, was it Profit Singularity? And I was like, again, this is one of those things where I've been looking at it going, and even if you don't want to do, like I'm scared to do ads because I already did it once, right? I did the ads and I couldn't get it quite to the work. And because of that, I'm like, oh man, I really need help with ads. So if nothing else, if this helps me with ads, it would be worth it, right? And I'm going, okay, if it helps me with ads, gives me the formula that I need to do, and then I can drive traffic to my own properties, that's great for me, which is the same thing, right? Once you know the formula, you can just apply it across the board. But let's look at my stats for Facebook, because I haven't looked at them. I'm going to be honest. I haven't looked at them in a while, and I want to do that before I make a commitment to this, because I have my sneaky suspicions. Pages. Then a little bit resources. Let's see here if it'll load. But I have my suspicions. Let's see here. Because insights, they keep moving stuff and renaming it and everything else. And it's like, unless you're totally into Facebook. So I don't care about Creator Studio. What I want to know is, okay, so post engagement actually has gone up. Yeah, I don't have a very good response rate at all because it doesn't ever notify me anymore. So let's look at these. Let's see. This one is today's, right? Yeah, this is today's. This is just the link back to YouTube. But here we go. Look at this one is our resident Etsy 1% seller, right? So this is a pretty good, let's go keep going on that. But it was 11 reach, right? So 11 reach, I have, here's one that's 20. So last week's reached 20 people. And what does that say? Engagement, 21 reactions. That's weird. I don't think there's 21 reactions on this.
So what you're saying is the stats on here are just like everyone else's stats, and they're not accurate.
Oh, they're always not accurate. Yeah. So, I mean, it is getting way more engaged. Oh, you know what? I know what it is. It was Marjorie. It was Marjorie's comments, our discussions back and forth and stuff. So, yeah, because it was all the comments. So that was, and so we had a reach of 20 people. Okay. And I think, what do I have? How many likes do I have on this page? Not, it's like 100 and something, or come on. Fine. We won't go to insights. We'll go straight to the page. And it says a grand total of, I don't know. How do you even figure this out anymore? 121 people follow, 114 people like. So not too shabby considering if you say 20 divided by 141, that's at 14%. So that's on the high end for Facebook. But you saw that that was the one that Marjorie had to spam a bunch of comments to it, right? I don't say spam that. She didn't. I should clarify that. Marjorie was nice enough to engage in comments on that. And because of that, that made it so that it got a little bit better reach than normal. Because otherwise we're looking at 11, which is like 10% maybe. And we've talked about this, is that on smaller pages like this, that's about your max reach, right? Unless you get something that goes viral. So considering that, I don't know if I can find the YouTube stats that fast. Let's see. I don't know why they give me all these like cop videos. It's really weird. I don't watch them.
I get random stuff too, and the only thing I could think of is that my kids or something had logged in and at some point used my account or whatever.
Yeah, that's
and
possible.
so it's making a weird connection between what the kids watched and what I've watched type thing, which I don't watch very much.
So here's one right here. It's a shorter one or whatever, but we're getting views of 29, 28, 21. I have 58 people, 58 subscribers. So let's do that one. So let's say, what was that first one I said? 29. So 29 divided by 58, almost 50%, or right at 50%, right? So when I'm getting a 50% reach, and some of these are new people, obviously, it's going to be pretty, it's a better one. So even if you don't do paid ads, you're better off using YouTube, right? And that's where I've been thinking this for a while now. So Marjorie asked, what did they charge for the program? The program is, if you do the one-time payment, it's a $2,500 program. So let me tell you this. I don't know what they're going to have us do for ads, but typically it used to be, you can do micro stuff for ads, micro budgets on Facebook, but you would get like no conversions if you were under, like, conversions typically were like 15, $20 a conversion or something, depending on what you were doing. But let's just say that I did similar ads on Facebook versus YouTube at the same time about a year ago. And on Facebook, I spent like $250 and didn't get a single conversion. On YouTube, I spent $50 and I got like 3 conversions. So just the conversions alone, and the views and everything else was a lot higher. But let's just say that you're going to spend, for me, I spent $50, got 3 conversions. Or I should say I got 3 opt-ins, not conversions. I got 1 conversion and no conversions or opt-ins from Facebook. Okay, so that was horrible. I'm like, Facebook's not doing a good job. They want you to pay your dues. But let's say if you're on YouTube, you could probably figure this out. But let's just say that you invested like $50 an ad, right? And so if you're doing $50 an ad at $2,500, you could go through 50 ads. If you don't figure out the combination within 50 ads, then you're probably going to need help at some point. Now, I'm saying, look, if you're going to spend $2,500 on ads, you very well may be able to do it, right? I'm not confident enough. Chrissy's newer to YouTube, so she's not confident enough. And we're saying, hey, we need a little bit of help on this. So I know I'm doing okay with organic reach without ads, right? And of course, when I run my ads, it will not be on Little Biz Resources because it's different stuff. So it'll be on its own channel doing things. So anyway, so I want to show you guys the stats on that so that you can see the difference in that. I've been wanting to talk about this long before the profit singularity. So kick that out of your brain for now and just think YouTube versus Facebook, right? So I showed you the stats. I showed you that there's not very much engagement at all on either one of them, but I think that might be because my channel's smaller. I'm not getting a ton of people watching it yet, but that's okay, right? A lot of my stuff is like an hour long. So it takes the right person to want to watch it for an hour in order to do that, or longer sometimes. But YouTube, and we talked about this before, which is ironic that that whole entire political discussion thing is kind of, but we talked about this before. So YouTube, right after Biden was announced as the official winner, like a week or two later, announced this massive change. Now, this is a massive change that couldn't take place in 2 weeks, right? So they had to have had it ready and waiting for the election. I mean, that's just logic. So you can tell me one way or another that I'm a Trump lover because I'm using logic, but whatever. And then, yes, I'm going to get mad about that. Not because I'm not a Trump lover, because I really don't give a crap either way on that, but because my channel is not about politics. My channel is about helping people. And if you can't get over the fact that, hey, both sides have issues, then leave my channel. This is not to you, Marjorie. This is not to you, Chrissy. This is to that guy. Oh, that guy. Leave me alone. Stop opting into things. I'm deleting you from everything. Anyway, so YouTube, if you guys remember back after the election, I got a notification. I talked about this live. I don't know if I put it out there. I may have been on a recorded one from Zoom and I didn't put it out. I don't know. I can't remember. But what they did, and this is not saying it's bad or anything else. I have my own opinions about this. I don't like the fact that YouTube makes money off of channels forcing it, right? I think they should give us an option that if you have a channel that's not part of the profit program or whatever their profit partnership or whatever it is they have, their partner program, I guess is what it is. If you have a channel that's not part of that, they can still put ads on it. And I think that's not right. Why? Because they have always advertised a certain way. And now all of a sudden they go, wait, we need to make money on this. Look, I agree with that. But give us an option so that we can pay for hosting of the videos then. And like you can do on Vimeo, right? So that's what my whole thing about that has been, look, I don't like not having the option. But it makes sense from a business standpoint that they do something to make more money. And that one thing that they saw was, look at all of these channels that are not part of the partner program, not part of the partner program that we can add advertisements to and make money on, right? So what this essentially did was open up what they call real estate. So advertising real estate. So if you think about it as plots of land and you say, okay, there's a house on this one, but that house owns those 3 lots. So those 2 lots are just going to be empty, right? And so what happens is you have a limited amount of lots that are able to put a house on. Well, what happens when you open up all those lots? You now can build a lot more houses and make more money, right? That's just the logic of real estate. The same thing applies online. You now opened up when YouTube changed this, they changed their profit potential significantly. But what happens is, just like when you open up the land at first, is that it kind of is, everybody goes there and it's cheap because there's not a huge demand yet. And then as more and more people realize the potential, the costs are going to go up. So for the first, I don't know, year or two, I suspect it's already been almost a year now since they announced that they were doing that. I suspect it's going to be maybe one more year of lower cost ads. And that's going to be based on industry. And I was explaining this to my sister the other day, is that when you run ads, whether it's on Google or on YouTube, they have a auction style. So if I say, hey, I'm going to bid $50 up until $50 a click until $1,000, I'm going to have X amount of clicks, and then it's going to go to the next person, right? Well, if they just opened up all this real estate, that means that you have an opportunity, even if it's still at $50, you have an opportunity to come in at $1 because there's a lot more real estate now. So does that mean you're going to actually eventually win the auction? It doesn't. That's the whole point of the auction, right? To see who's going to bid the most. But all of these places run out of money throughout the day or whatever, and there's still going to be ads served. So your 1 cent ads, your 2 cent ads and stuff, those still get put out there. And the other thing is with YouTube versus Facebook, especially with ads at least, is that Facebook, they charge you no matter what. They don't care if somebody sees it. They're scrolling, it's auto playing. It's, oh, look, you had a view. No, that was somebody scrolling through and they went and itched their nose while your ad happened to come up, right? There's really no way to know for sure when you have views on Facebook. YouTube lets people skip, right? So if they push that skip button within the first 5 seconds, you don't get charged. You don't get charged unless if your video is 30 seconds or longer, they have to watch the first 30 seconds. If it's under 30 seconds, they have to watch the whole thing, right? So you've got some leeway here with how much you get charged for, because people can skip it. So if it's not appealing to them and they know that within the first 5 seconds, they can hit skip. And a lot of people do. They're kind of trained to do that. So again, like I said, the YouTube ads part, it's kind of like the new gold rush minus the gold, which would be really awesome. If there were gold involved, I'd definitely be there, right? All right, so enough about YouTube and Facebook, because I don't want to keep this too long and I don't want to get too preachy about that, but print on demand project. We are running a new print on demand project. So as I've mentioned before, we had all of these courses plugged in to our membership area, which I forgot to transfer, so it doesn't exist anymore. But we have the videos still. So if you're like, hey, I want to get access to that, just let me know and I'll just give you a link to the videos. They're older. They're a couple years old now. And we decided we're going to revamp them. And Chrissy and I, right, Chrissy, we're going to be working on Etsy, which I don't think I put in here, but we will have an Etsy series coming out. And it's not going to be all at once like the other ones were. It's going to be, we're going to release it on a schedule over the next however long it takes. And we're going to try to get that schedule hashed out this week and hopefully posted next week. But the other thing we're going to be doing is I'm doing a print on demand project. So this ties in with people who want to be on Etsy if they want to, and I'm going to have an alternate way. And this is why this says quick overview, is that the alternate method is going to be, we're going to show you guys how to do the designs, how to automate the designs so that you can, if you choose, you don't have to automate it. You could always do it manual, but how to automate them to make it quicker. And then you can either do something like Printful, which is the one we do for print on demand, where you have your own business and you're promoting your own products, or you can do other things, other print on demand places that are marketplaces where you just get a percentage of the sale. So that means, and what that means is if you're doing Printful, you may need to have a little bit of money to kind of have a cushion in case there's returns. If you need to, set up whatever your shopping cart is, even if you're on Etsy, you're going to have need to have a budget for, listings and everything else. And then, figure out pricing and everything else if you're doing your own store. But if you're doing the marketplaces where you're just making a profit, typically you get to set the profit and then you just get to put it out there and see what happens. Now there's strategies in all these, but we're not going to go deep into those. We're just going to teach how to set all these up and then let people decide what they want next, because, I'm not on all of these, but I'm going to get on all of these and see what happens and what they're doing and stuff. So we're trying to make it so that people who want to literally just come in and have no monetary investment whatsoever can come in, they can design some stuff for free. They can, and of course there's going to be, I say free loosely because there may be a little bit of charge depending on if you may need a specific software program, like I use Adobe, but if you wanted to do, and we're going to try to do GIMP as well. So GIMP is free. And, so we're going to try to do both as much as possible to kind of give as much availability on the free side. But honestly, like if I have to have a background removal tool or something, Adobe takes me too long. I actually have a different one. But if you can do it, if you have Adobe and you can do it, then use it, right? Or if you have something else, I don't even know if GIMP does background removal. Do you know, Chrissy, if it does? By any chance?
I do not know. I don't know if I even tried. I know that you can do PNGs and stuff like that, but I don't know if I've ever tried to remove the background. I'm sure they have the erase feature, but I doubt they have like the one that you have, or even like any other programs have. It's a free project. I mean, or a free program, so it's hard. They have to be limited on whoever adds to it, type thing.
Right. So anyway, so that's a project that we're doing. And we're going to, of course, release that in a series of videos as well. We're going to sprinkle them in with marketing videos and everything else. So eventually I'll have a intro to the channel, and I'll have the schedule up and everything else to help at least give you an idea on what days we're going to cover different topics. Because it's just kind of works. It's working out that way. So it should be a pretty good project. All right. So now let's go over. I think there was something else I was supposed to talk about, Grizzy, but I don't remember. I texted it to you and I didn't get to make all the notes. Let's see. What did I tell you? I said I need to make a list. Okay. We did Facebook versus YouTube. Profit Singularity. We mentioned it, but we're going to do a full overview later. Print on demand project. So I think that's pretty much it. So then let's go ahead and do this. I think I mentioned this before. And so if you didn't catch on, I was dealing with a child with a rash, which of course they didn't know what it was. Probably an allergic reaction to something, maybe not, who knows. So I didn't get in. I actually did get some of these done. Now that I say that, I'll have to go back and look. I think I did a Pinterest pin, and then, or maybe a couple of them. And then I got a couple posts up, but not the reels. And then I didn't get anything on LinkedIn. And then I did get a couple of videos. We did not get the rewards and loyalty one up, and that's because it takes an hour plus, and I didn't have an hour plus to do. So I will get that one done hopefully by the end of the week. In fact, what we'll do is I think I'm going to try to release those on Tuesdays. So we'll have it. So every week I release one for the next several weeks. And then affiliate marketing case study. I didn't do that one. Instead, I did high ticket affiliate marketing. And I think we did the live Etsy one. So we technically did get 3 videos up for YouTube. And then Facebook sharing posts into groups. I actually canned that. And the reason why is, even though I posted this, like the next day I was listening to, gosh, he's really good. He's on YouTube. That's where I got it, right? So YouTube, what did I say his name was? Channel Makers? Yeah, this guy right here. So Channel Makers, I'm going to put that in here. He is really good. I recommend anybody who is on YouTube consider watching some of his videos. And I don't know if it was from him or from the comments. I can't really remember, but there was this thing about how they were talking about when you share the videos into like Facebook and social media stuff and everything, it's hurting it like seems to hurt. It's obviously going to be observational here. There's no hard statistics that suggest this, but people were noticing that the ones that they share significantly into social media didn't seem to get as much momentum on YouTube as the ones that they just left alone. Now mine auto posts onto Facebook, but I don't think that's a problem when I'm getting a 50% reach, right? When I'm getting 50% of my people reach, that's pretty good. I mean, considering that nobody else, none of the other social media channels can get that high, right? So I'm like, hey, I'll take that. And I'm not going to, and I don't know, I might stop it auto posting, but I have an audience on Facebook. So it seems silly not to share it into Facebook. So anyway, so that's something that they talked about, is that when they were doing that and specifically mentioned sharing it into groups, it was affecting the algorithm. That seemed to affect the algorithm. So I don't know if that's true or not, but I have noticed that when I share from my what I typically do is I don't share it straight from YouTube to the Facebook group, but that's not the way Facebook reads it, right? Facebook reads it as you're pasting the link. Even if you're sharing it from your page or something, it's a link. So you're sharing that link. So you can still credit your page, but you're still kind of doing the same thing. So I was like, you know what? I'm probably going to hold off on the Facebook groups, because I have noticed a similar problem, is that I'm spending an hour or 2 hours or whatever a day posting into Facebook groups and not getting any momentum on Facebook at all, like none. And it'll be like, oh, six people have seen this post. And I'm like, how is that possible? I shared it into 20 groups. And I also read that if you start sharing it into more than like 2 groups, Facebook automatically minimizes its reach anyway. So there doesn't seem to be a benefit unless you have a strategy, and then there's no way you could manually do it. I mean, you could go from a checklist or something, but it's like, it seems like the Facebook groups are being penalized now if you're going to be sharing into your page into the groups. So maybe one share into like one group, like I do into the main group, to our Little Biz Resources group, that might be okay. But anything beyond that is going to be bad. So I decided not to do that. Oh, really? So Marjorie says, now I'm seeing watch YouTube video without leaving Facebook. Marjorie, I can't, that would be amazing if they're doing that again, because that's how it used to be when you could first paste the links and stuff. They first started out with, it would autoplay the YouTube video for people, or I think they could just play it, whatever, but they could play it straight in Facebook. So it would be interesting. That could be a test, but it would be interesting if they're going back to that, because I suspect that Facebook is hurting. And here's why. And this is another reason why, again, regardless of Profit Singularity, regardless of that, this is just talking YouTube. I'm pro YouTube now, because I thought about it and I sat down and I said, look, I'm generating content that I'm sharing on both platforms, right? Eventually, I could get to the point where I can join the partner program on YouTube and make money. On Facebook, I have no options for making money except to have them click on a link and buy something, right? So YouTube says, hey, we want you to make money. We will partner with you, but you have to reach a certain level, of course. And Facebook is going to do that. They have announced that they're going to do that. I think it's supposed to be in like 2023 or something. But the requirements for it, at least the last ones that I saw, are extremely ridiculous. Like, you have to be big, right? And so even if YouTube jumps theirs and matches Facebook's, I already showed you I'm going to get more reach organically with YouTube, like 3 times, 4 times, 5 times the reach with YouTube over. In fact, if you just look at those numbers, I only have 58 people who've liked the channel and I'm getting 29 views. I can't even get 29 views on Facebook with whatever my likes were. And I have a Facebook group with 300 and something people in it. So it's going to be interesting to see that, because I suspect, like I said, I suspect that Facebook is still trying to capitalize on the YouTube growth, which is going to continue to be big. There are plenty of people, especially with the recent stay-at-home stuff. It's been, hey, I need to figure out a way to make money, or hey, I'm spending more time on there. I might as well make my own channel. You've got new generations popping up, and they all grew up with YouTube, right? My daughter wants to be a YouTuber. Chrissy's kids want to be YouTubers. My brother's kid wants to be a YouTuber. You know, they all, that's what they see. That's what they want to do. So now, Chrissy, I had you come on, but I didn't get a chance to really ask you. So what, other than the whole $50,000 a day, and I put 30,000, but that's okay. What was there anything, is that what excited you? Like, what do you like about it, about the program?
Well, I got to tell you, I did not like the pitch. And I know that was one of the things that you guys are saying unimpressed. Well, the reason you guys are unimpressed is because they're taking the typical sales strategy of doing it in a certain order and doing it a certain way and saying, here, let me show you all these great things with very little information. And then saying, are you excited? Are you excited? And there was, yeah, of course, it was really drawn out, right? And then, like you said, what are you going to say for an hour, right? So that was part of the problem, is that they're taking old strategy and applying it to something new, where we're kind of used to, you know, especially with Steve and Aiden, they do things a little bit different. The other thing was that we don't know these people. So we don't, and that's why they attached to Steve and Aiden. They, you know, there's that trust that's built there. And if I hadn't been attached to Steve and Aiden, I probably wouldn't pay attention to it. But the thing is that I've been doing YouTube videos now for 2 months, almost 2 months. And mine's in a really, really weird niche. I'm just doing them for fun and to learn, etc. But I'm running into a ginormous amount of problems along the way. Free resources are very difficult to work with multiple things. Even if I can find, even I'm paying for a resource right now. It's only $20 a month, or whatever, for the Adobe stuff or whatever. But it crashes and breaks, and I hate it. And I'm like, you know, and a lot of times, like, okay, so one of the things that they were talking about is the, I don't remember what they call it, the text to speech type thing.
The robot
right?
voice.
Yeah, well, so the reason that is ideal for people is because if you try to do a voiceover over certain things, it is a pain in the butt. And if you're using the program like I'm using, you start to do a voiceover and then it freezes halfway through, you've lost everything. So and I mean, the longer it is, the worse it gets. Mine was a 7-minute video, and I was already 4 hours in editing it, which is ridiculous I cut it down to 5 minutes or whatever. But it was ridiculous that I had it crash and I can't even open it. I'm like, I've been saving along the way so I wouldn't lose the whole thing, and now I can't even open it. So I'm like, to me, all the stuff on the market, yeah, it's manageable, it's doable, whatever. But learning how all these problems occur, I'm like, well, I kind of like the text-to-speech idea. Like, I don't want to try to do a voiceover anymore. And like some of the guys were saying that they pay tons of money for these things. And in reality, if you can have multiple options for doing these things, it's a good option in general. It's a little pricey on my side, just because for me, I don't like paying out tons and tons of money for things that I feel like I can do on my own. But I am literally a noob when it comes to YouTube. I do not know a newbie all the way. I don't even watch it hardly. I used to be the type of person that went, oh, a video, skip. You know, and I have come to know that, you know, sometimes you can just fit it in faster in a video than someone can read it. Now, historically, it's been proven that we read slower on a computer than we would in like a book in front of us. So when I'm doing these things, I'm thinking, How can I make it faster? Obviously, if I'm reading it to them, that's great. But guess what? Someone's going to hate my voice. Doesn't matter if it's robotic or not. Someone's going to hate my, partner's voice, whoever I decide to have help me with it. And no matter what, you're going to get someone who hates that voice. If the robotic voices are the ones that people are starting to like and starting to accept that, hey, a lot of people are doing this, go for it, because then at least that they're accepting of it. I don't like them, but there's times where I listen to them just because I want to make fun of them. So maybe it's a good thing. I don't know. But there was a couple things that when they were going through it, I kept going. And like I said, it was the pitch mostly. Not that they did a bad job. It just doesn't. It's not like you spelled that wrong. Not that I have issues with the people that were doing everything like that. There was just some things that in it that, yes, I realize that people can make a lot of money in it. Yes, I realize that we're newer to this, but I did my dissertation paper for my PhD on being online. And I had to do a lot of research into the options. And one of the things that's been coming up over the last couple of years is YouTube. And Facebook was not at the top of the list anymore. In fact, they said that if you wanted to reach more people, it was YouTube. And that was just for advertising, not even for like just putting because if we're I was like, what I do right now is the, just little fun stuff or whatever, that stuff reaches people, obviously. And then somebody else's advertising gets them because it's not stuff that I'm getting paid for. It's just whatever YouTube's putting on there. But you're going to get at least that 10 to 15 seconds, depending on how much they can skip. Because like when I watch something, I can't skip anything before 15 seconds. I don't know if those are longer videos or advertising or what, but most of the time I have to wait 10 to 15 seconds.
Yeah, so, there's a type of video where you can pay that you're guaranteed. So you're obviously paying to get a guaranteed view of that.
Right.
And those
but even
are
you can still in 5 seconds sell something to somebody. So, I mean, just getting it in front of them. They were talking about so the and part of the stuff is marketing stuff, that on the right side you get these banners and everything that show these things, and you might see something that you recognize, like if you buy from Walmart or Kohl's or whatever, they show up on the right side, right? I don't know if any of those do anymore because I don't pay attention, but actually I think I use ad blocker, but they'll show up on the right side of the browser, right? So you see them, whatever. And then it's not until you're like doing something, and for some reason that ad, you've seen it 3, 4, 5 times, whatever they say, 6 times, I think is the 3 to 6, somewhere around there is the magic number for most people. You'll click on it just because you've seen it a couple times now. It's been in the back of your mind. It's some kind of way of psychologically getting you ready to be able to purchase whatever it is. So they've got all these ways that they know how to do it. So advertising is not a bad idea, obviously. So 5 seconds, I mean, you're getting in front of them, whether it's 5 seconds or 15 seconds, or you're getting in front of them. So the advertising on YouTube is a really good idea because, like you said, with Facebook, you can just scroll right through it and completely ignore it. And yet, yes, the people advertising still get charged for it. So I've been leaning towards YouTube. I've been learning it. So that's kind of why I wanted to get on it, is because I want to be able to learn more about how it works, etc. But like I said, in my dissertation paper, I emphasize, and they were very impressed with this in a lot of the things I've been talking through, is that with my market, the crafts market, I think YouTube's where to be. Obviously, that's one of the best places to be because it's very difficult in words to tell somebody how to string something together or thread a needle or whatever. You really need to show and not just tell, and you can't show with words in that type of situation. I mean, you could try, but I guarantee you're gonna get a lot of questions or a lot of angry people. So YouTube's a good place to be, and a lot of people are moving to YouTube. Look at all not just the shortages because of COVID causing with all the electronics and everything like that, but people are buying them up because they want them, because they're at home and they're bored and they want their kids to have something when they have to go sit in a doctor's office. I mean, one time we went to the dentist and they had like iPads all over the place for the kids to view stuff while they're waiting. And I was like, this is crazy. And I wish I had that many, but at the same time, what would I do with them? But so people are going mobile, people are going, and that's actually what the shorts are for on YouTube. I think you mentioned this, is that they're for the mobile devices. That means that, tons and tons of people are going mobile. You got to get in front of them somewhere. And by learning the YouTube stuff, I think that we'll have a better opportunity. I mean, like I said, I do really well in my company right now, but I kind of want to expand outside of it. I'm like you. I'm not necessarily sick of the people. I'm kind of used to the mean people, And I do have tons of people that are very grateful for what I do, but I kind of don't want to do it anymore. It's not that I don't love it. I do. Every time I'm down there, I'm like, I love doing this. I can't imagine giving it up, but I want to dial it back a little bit. I have the number one quantity of that item. I don't know if we should brag about what that is in probably the world. It's different variety, not the total amount, but different variety. And I'm like, I don't need it. I don't want to keep doing that I mean, we'll see what happens, but I want to be able to do other things. I want to diversify. Let's just put it that way. I want to diversify. I want to do some other stuff.
Yeah. Well, and what's appealing about ads, regardless of whether you do the program or not, what's appealing about ads is that if you can get an ad, so in the example that they use, obviously, is they're running an ad to an affiliate product. So you don't have to fulfill anything, right? And that's the part I think that makes their particular program work well, is because you can just basically scale the ads. Now, Marjorie, let's say that you were promoting something where you're making something or you're providing a service to somebody, you're not gonna be able to scale like that. And so that's one of the things that it's like, what's appealing to the particular business model is whether business model of affiliate marketing is that you don't have to offer customer service. You don't have to, you don't have to deal with the people's questions. I mean, I do for some reason, but and I don't mind. I like people asking me questions about it because it helps me learn the product more. But I typical affiliates don't do that. And so running it this way, I suspect now, based on the week 0, that's what they're in right now, is week 0, based on that the videos that are in there, I suspect that they're going to have us drive it to a landing page because they're giving us and telling us to set one up, right? So I think that's a pretty good logical conclusion there.
I think module 1 was actually just opened. So
did it?
Yeah, I think so. I think I just got the email on it.
Okay. So anyway, but like I said, regardless of that, I'm not as strong as Marjorie, right? Marjorie has shared a story with us in the past about some really bad experiences on Facebook that I don't think I would have survived, right? I think I would have just given up and gone back to a job because I am not strong enough to deal with that kind of stuff. I can't handle the mean people, right? It's really tough for me. In fact, my daughter has a friend that's kind of mean. And I can't, whenever she's with, I'm like, you got to go outside and play. I can't listen to this because I can't listen to the way that my daughter is treated. And she just like eats it up. She just doesn't care. She just wants to play with somebody. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. I'm like, So yeah, I can't do that in all the time. I mean, maybe sometimes, like I've gotten 1-star reviews before where I just rolled my eyes and moved on. Right. But there are ones like this one where the lady was just being a child. And that's just mean. And then that guy who I don't even know why he even looks at my stuff if he hates me so much. Just drives me crazy. But Marjorie, yeah, I'm not as strong as you. You are very strong for the stuff you put up with. But the great thing about YouTube, I learned this too from I think I was watching that guy's channel. Oh, which by the way, I haven't done his program, so I can't like say yes, do it or not, but watch his videos. And this isn't necessarily for you, Marjorie, but for anybody on the replay or whoever watches this, that, check it out. Check out his program. He has a program that helps people get their channels going. I don't know what else involved. I just know he has it. And in my attempt to be normal, I was like, oh, well, I'll put this on my to watch list or to, possibly get at the beginning of the year. But we've got so much on our plate. There's no way I could go through another program, even though it's probably an excellent one. His free content's excellent. Right. I'm going, oh my gosh, he's got really, really good content. In fact, I need to probably consume more of it. But one of the things he talked about, which I am going to learn from, is he talked about how often you put out content. Now, for us, with only 58, 57, whatever it is, subscribers, yeah, our schedule doesn't matter because we've got, our normal people that come on with us. And then we've got, random people who find us. But for the most part, we don't have to worry about putting out too much content because we don't have anybody to make mad yet. So yeah, the channel makers guy, yeah, he's the one that, sorry, I'm watching the stats go up and down and up and down. It's really weird. But yeah, the channel makers guy, he's the one that he has a program, but his content, like I said, is very, very good. So even if you just watch his content and you'll get some tips about YouTube specifically, that's what he focuses on, is building a YouTube channel. And it's pretty good pretty interesting things. He talked about, though, one of the things is like if you have really heavy content, this might not have been him. I think it was, though. I think because mostly I've watched him, but if you have really heavy content and you put out a lot of it, you're going to burn out your audience. And so thinking that's part of the reason why we've decided to, not put Etsy all out at once, right? Or put the print. Oh, in fact, I should probably add, we're going to have to do 6 because I need to do a print on demand video.
Well, and you got to remember when you're setting up something new, like for Etsy, you can get overwhelmed really easy. And here's the other thing. This is what always drives me nuts. So you're starting a new even program, whatever you want to do, right? You start going step by step and then you hit something where it just stops you in your tracks and you have to wait. You don't want to be getting further and further and further and further behind. You want to be staying with with what you're learning. And so like when it comes down to, oh, you know what? I got to do a verification on my Etsy account, which I never had to do, by the way, knock on wood. But mine's such an old account. They didn't require that back then. But nowadays, depending on where you are and how you sign up or et cetera, they might require you to send in a driver's license or something like that for verification purposes. They have other ways of verifying. I think that might be the way I did it with like a credit card or whatever it was, just to they cross-reference or something. I don't know. It's been so many years since and even when I did the newer one, when we last did these, it didn't require anything because they have some way of verifying who I am. So, but there's some people that they just can't do that with. So they say, oh, I've seen in the forums, they go, oh, I had to send in my driver's license. Is that normal? And people go, oh yeah, all the time. And I'm like, oh, really? I didn't know that. And then I had to do that with some other thing the other day. And I was like, oh, now I see why that they do that because they can't. Oh, it was IRS or something I had to do that with. And I was like, why? I've been using this program, but they're now implementing new ways of trying to verify people's identity because of, all the problems. So Etsy's done that. And so if you get stuck having to do that, you don't want 20 more videos to go through in one night. And yes, it gets exciting when you get through it all and you go, yes, I'm ready to go. Let's go to the next one. Hurry up and do it. We understand that, but at the same time, we don't want you to get stuck and get so far behind that you're like, why? I don't want to do this now. And so it's like we have to kind of juggle that a little bit, but also when you're going through it, it's easier to be able to go back over the last 3 or 4 videos if there's not 20 ahead of you too. So of course, at one point in time, there's going to be all of them available, but you want to go and you want to do only a certain amount. You don't want to overwhelm yourself in one night and skip something or miss something or do something wrong. So we want to make sure that there's enough time for people to look all over those videos and stuff. So we're not trickling it out because we just, what is it? Whatever scheme they try to do that with, keep you longer for something because this is free content, right? So that's not the reason we're doing it. We're doing it because we want to make sure you get it all right and that you don't feel overwhelmed with it and that you have time to be able to do it all correctly because we're coming up to the holidays. And if anybody wants to get launched on Etsy, they should be doing that now and getting situated, especially while they're doing their changes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that, and then, like I said, even with the print on demand stuff, if you choose not to get on Etsy, if you just want to get on these marketplaces, you got to be in there for the holidays. That's going to be your best testing period. That's going to be everything. So we want to get that content out. But again, we've got so much content to get out that we also need time to be able to create it all because we're updating it. And we need, of course, there's a lot that goes into it. So hopefully we won't lose any subscribers from it, but 58, not really hurt. Once the content's all out there, it's gonna be a lot easier to fine tune and just replace videos as needed or whatever. But we got to get the foundation out there. But yeah, I was listening to one from Joanne and I was like, man, I wonder what she's doing. I hope she's okay. Because I don't know if you guys saw, but she was in the hospital for quite a few weeks from the C word. So yeah, I hope she's doing better now. I think, well, she was the last time I saw. I have to reach out to her and see how she's doing because we were talking to each other like every week. And then all of a sudden she disappeared off the face of the earth. I'm like, oh, she probably just got busy. No, she was trying not to die. I'm like, wow. I should have called her, but not that she would have answered. I feel really bad about that. So
I didn't see it. I didn't know.
Oh yeah, that's what I keep going. Oh my gosh. It seems to be getting worse and closer. It's like closing in on me. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But yeah. So,
Oh, that C word.
yeah.
It's not nearly as bad as the other C word I was thinking, but that C word's okay. I mean, that C word's so bad, but yeah, okay. Okay, I got it.
Wait, I don't know. Want to know what C word you were talking about.
The worst, way worse one that's like, I don't know how to explain it.
Okay, I was talking COVID.
I was talking cancer.
Oh my gosh. No.
See?
Okay, I guess I can't say C word.
No, because it freaked me out. I was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea.
What's the other word for it?
For what?
For COVID?
Oh my gosh, I don't remember.
What do we used to call it? It was coronavirus. So it's still a C word. Dang it.
Yeah. Okay, there you go.
So and then I could say the
I
P word.
believe we had to stop saying coronavirus because it was related to a beverage of some kind.
The beer. Oh yeah, their stock went way down when it came out. People thought that you could get it from it. I was like, wow, our society has definitely failed.
There you go. You can just
Public
do the R
education.
word. Actually, I don't know. Let's see. I could come out with a couple things too with R. Now that I think about it.
Okay, so now I feel even more horrible. Yeah, Rona. That's what Marjorie put Rona.
I was going to say, that's why I saw that and I was like, well, yeah, but now when you said the R word, that would not be the first thing that popped in my head.
I just thought that it was obvious what it would be if I said the C word right now.
I've been bubbled. Sorry.
Okay. Anyway, so no, God, now I feel even worse.
I was gonna cry. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so sad. I mean, not that the other one's not. It totally is, but at least there's some recovery from that in the shorter period of time in my mind, you know.
Okay, now I have to get off a call or something. Well,
yeah, I know.
It's too late. She's 2 hours ahead of me, but I have to
call her anyway.
email her and be like, yeah, you know what? We were talking about you on our webinar today, and I need to know how you're doing right now.
Yeah.
I'll check her Facebook page. Maybe there's
okay. Anyway, what was the rest of it? Sorry, I didn't even derail us.
So no, I don't know. Now I'm completely derailed.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So I went ahead and updated my goals for next week. We're gonna keep some of them, obviously. Now that I'm hopefully crossing my fingers. This is part of the reason why I'm pro automation, by the way, which I'm not quite to that point with a lot of these. But I'm pro automation because this happens with I'm pointing to my daughter. She can't see me, or she's playing her games with her headset on, but she has allergic reactions and weird rashes and weird medical things that science can't explain on a regular basis, right? I mean, she's had 2 surgeries this year, and I mean, this happens a lot, and because of that, this is why I'm pro automation. This is also why a program like the one that we're looking at, or a process like that, I should say, is appealing to me. So I want to learn ads, and I want to be able to learn to do it better. So, all right, well, let's call it quits because we are over an hour. Marjorie, I appreciate you coming on. If you did, wait, before I go, I can't tell if you're on or not because it keeps blinking at me that there are people or not people. But like I said, sometimes there'll be like 3 people on and it won't say anybody's on. It's not very reliable. just saying. So if you are on still, Marjorie, if you have any questions, pop them in. And Christine and I are going to finish up with talking about some Etsy things real quick. And then we'll see any questions that you have. And then we'll do that. I'm switching though. Oh, actually, I guess we don't have to talk about Etsy because I can tell you what we're doing. So we're going to be switching back to off of StreamYard because I don't know how to fix the issue with bringing people on. I don't know if I will be able to fix it. I still have Zoom, but I'm thinking about just getting rid of it because we're not using it. And then I'm going to go back to Streamlabs. So why do they have the same name? Streamlabs. So Streamlabs OBS, right? So, and I'm just going to do YouTube so I can do the free version. Because why am I paying for all these things if it's not reaching people? So instead, we're going to go back to Streamlabs OBS. I'm eventually going to have a camera so you can actually see what I look like. Even though this is what I look like right here. Boo. Oh, you can't see me. Whatever it is. The picture that's on here. I can't point to it.
I can see it. I can point to it, but it doesn't make anybody else see it.
Right. I know. No, I can't point to it. It's frustrating.
You're lighting up. It's okay.
Yeah. This one, the one that I'm like circled around. That is what I look like because that was like not last summer, but the summer before, and I haven't changed it all. So that place has, but I haven't. Most of that place burned down. Actually, we don't know about the trees across. We got the picture from our mom, and we're like,
It was still a little too smoky to tell because the coloring could or couldn't be. So yeah.
Yeah, Marjorie Streamlabs. Yep, that's the one. And we're gonna go back to that. I figured out a way to bring people on through either Skype or Discord or something like that. So we can play with that maybe next week if Chrissy can get on again. So we'll test that out, and then we'll have a system for people to come on. We'll just schedule that. All right. So then Marjorie says she's good, so she doesn't have any questions right now. If you do, Marjorie, as always, feel free to post them in the Facebook group. You can always message me or put them in comments anywhere, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you don't see me reply within 24 hours, that means I didn't get a notification, and you should definitely re-tag me or just message me and be like, Kim, Facebook's being mean again, because it is mean to me sometimes. But I do appreciate the memories that it gives me, the pictures that I posted.
Yeah, thanks for the memories.
I know. I think of that song every time too. So, well, thanks for coming, Marjorie, and thanks for all the comments, and thanks for coming on, Christine. Oh, you know what, Marjorie? I'm gonna have to send it to you because I never use it, like never, and so I don't know how to figure that out. So, in fact, I got a message the other day and I went, "Whoa, I have Skype on my phone." So obviously, I put it on there, and I never use it, but we're gonna have to use it because that's how we're gonna get people on.
Really?
Yeah. Well, that or Discord.
I have to learn Skype too.
Or Discord.
What, Discord.
Oh. Yeah.
Discord.
Well, because you can do a video call with Discord. So
Discord.
I know. I'm thinking
it's all the
Skype.
gamers using that.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Well, that's the first video that popped up teaching me how to do it. Thank you, YouTube. So yeah, so we will probably do Skype though because yeah. So Marjorie, as soon as I figure it out, I will send you that info on Skype because, like I said, I don't know how to figure it out. In fact, I don't even know how to find it on my phone. Yeah, it's not even try. Oh, it's trying to open it. There it goes. So yeah, I'll have to figure this out.
Okay, anything else?
Nope, I think that's good. Now I'm stuck on looking at Skype, so I'm gonna be like obsessed with it for the next 24 hours.
Nope, you got a list. We got goals. We got to keep to them.
Yep. All right. So thanks again, Marjorie, and we will see everybody next week, hopefully with video on and lots of progress. Right. Keep an eye out for some of these videos. We'll try to have a schedule up, like I said, hopefully by the end of this week. And some of these will probably come out before the schedule is up. So everybody take care. Have a great weekend. And if you are, having to deal with the school rush lately, I've noticed that around here, school has caused an increase in traffic. Oh, you're not alone. So, Chrissy, anything else? Any last minute thoughts?
Nope.
You have to pee, don't you?
Nope.
Oh, I do. So I'm going to go. So I will talk to you guys later, and I will probably reach out to you in a little bit, Chrissy.
Okay.
All right. Thanks again, Marjorie. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Bye.